We take care of our physical health, but what about our mental health? And how are they connected? Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Carre, and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective and either learn something new or get reminded of something that we already knew. This week's episode is called Connecting Physical and Mental Health. Health and wellness. Two words that have so many meanings and so many definitions. And usually when we hear the word health, we think about salads and sweating, about getting to the gym and eating nutritious food. And we assume that if we make these choices, that leads to our overall wellness. That's not a bad place to start, but I think we need to open up the conversation. Because discussing different diets or approaches to food or new gyms and new workout fads, those are all great, but there's so much more to the conversation when we're talking about our overall health and wellness. This isn't just about what we're putting in our mouths and how much boob sweat we are accumulating. There's a lot more. Our mental health is just as critical as our physical health is, and these two things are very much connected with one another. I personally believe that the benefits I get physically are just as much or more mentally. This really became true for me, or clear for me, I should say, a couple of weeks ago. I was doing a workout and I pulled one of the muscles in my calf. Side note, there's 3 of them in there. Who knew? I thought calf just sort of summed it all up, but apparently there's more. Anyhow, so I pull the muscle, I get home, I text my sister, she's a physiotherapist, and she says, Michelle, you gotta rest and get some ice on there, on and off kind of thing, right? Classic advice that you would get, except for she said, you have to rest. Ugh. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And I did. I was pretty good for a few days. I kind of stayed off of it, tried not to walk a ton, took my time, but I was getting restless. And as I sat there and the days went on and I couldn't do typical workouts or maybe walk as much as I normally would, even walking the dog, I realized that I was suffering not because I couldn't get to the gym physically, but I was suffering mentally. I was starting to feel down. I was starting to feel depressed, and it was really impacting how I felt overall because I wasn't moving my body. And that's when it just became so clear that this concept that physical and mental health are connected, it was incredibly clear to me that they are absolutely 100% connected. Once we see that our physical and our mental health are connected with one another, we have to start looking at everything that we're doing and how those activities benefit us both physically and mentally. Now, one area that I think is very much overlooked is our sleep. I think that we just assume we can get by on very little, or we don't pay attention to it, or worse yet, we wear this badge of honor if we get very little sleep because we're somehow more productive and more special. And it's ridiculous because it's not true. I mean, there's a bazillion studies and books about it. I'm sure you can, ask Google or Siri or read a book or study about it in the next 2 minutes, and that would be confirmed for you. But sleep is incredibly important. Now, we all need different amounts. There's nothing wrong with having, 5-6 hours of sleep if physically that's all you need. But if you find your health is suffering in any way, I would really look at your sleep to start there and see if there's something there that needs to change, because maybe you thought you were a 5 or 6 hour person, but you actually need 7 or 8. And maybe you're sleeping 8 to 10, but you really are optimal at 7 to 8. Again, no expert on sleep, but what I do know is that it's incredibly important, and it's a great place to start because what our body does physically and mentally while we are sleeping impacts everything from our jobs to our relationships to our physical abilities to our health, our hormones. So many parts of our life are affected by our sleep. In fact, I would say all parts of our life are impacted by sleep, that it's a key area to start with. Not sure if you can hear my dog snoring in the background, but she's clearly working on her sleep right now to really make sure she's the healthiest overweight puggle out there. Another practice that contributes to overall wellness is clarity. I really think that if we spend some time each day, it could be walking outside in nature, that can bring tremendous clarity. It can be meditating, journaling, or just a few quiet moments by yourself to just let go of the negative thoughts that are in your mind, the things that are causing you worry and stress or other people's drama, and then refocusing on what matters most. Because that's something that we can do that not only helps us with our mental health, but with our physical health. Because when we're not carrying the burden of other people and worry and drama, we release that and it changes the way our body operates. So just like our physical health can help with our mental health helps with our physical health. So this isn't something where we can silo it and say, yes, I meditate and then never go to the gym. Or, yeah, I go to the gym 7 days a week and never have a moment of quiet or time to reflect. You have to do both. You have to integrate all different ways of being healthy and taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. And when we incorporate practices that promote health in all those areas, that's when we get to true wellness, overall wellness. So when you're going about your week this week, think about what you're doing for yourself, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. How are you making yourself healthier on every single level? And then recognize too, when you're doing something that benefits multiple areas, not just one. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I can't wait to see you next week for the next episode.